hugs, everyone, and welcome to Pass the Mic. Today, I have an amazing man sharing this time and space with me, and I'm excited for you to meet Ron Jenkins. Say hello to the world, Ron.
Hello, world. I'm excited to be here in Gino's world. Yes,
Ron, what's our song today?
Our song today is going to be Lean On Me.
Lean on me. Don't you love it? All right.
Let's go. Let's do this.
Lean on me.
When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on.
It won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Oh, wow. I can't believe we did that. But.
Yes, we did. Before I tell you a little bit more about Ron, I want to read a letter to you that this wonderful young man wrote to Mr. Jenkins. It says, to Jenkins, well, I know you were not expecting this, but here it goes. First off, I wanted to thank you for everything. My time here was pretty fun because of you. You're a great role model and a father and a teacher. Taught me a lot being around you. You have inspired me to be the father I wish to be to my son for what you've taught me. Even though sometimes you can be very disciplined, it's tough. Even though sometimes you can be very a disciplinarian, it taught me a lot. Since the first day to the last, I've given you my all and tried my hardest on whatever was asked of me. This is because you never gave up on me and always kept it real with me. You were a big part in why I now want to become the person I thought I would never amount to be. I hope your next crew learns from you. Don't cut back, no slack, and push them to their limits. I can guarantee they will be surprised to know what they can amount to and are capable of. It would be nice to be able to stay in contact with you, but unfortunately we can't. I will be calling my parole officer and Miss Cotton to thank you sincerely. What a beautiful message from a young man that was in a situation that I'm sure at first seemed to be dire. The last place in the world they'd want to be. But because of Ron Jenkins, you brought a new energy. You created a community in a world, a juvenile detention officer. You know, a lot of people think in the prison system that there is no hope. How do you do that? But you brought hope, Ron. How do you do that?
I think first you start with your heart. And you understand, like you said, what community is about. Community is about everyone pitching in to make a difference. Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, how much money you have, but I was taught at a young age that by a mentor of mine that if you're complaining about what's going on in the community and you're not doing anything about it, then you're a part of the problem.
Absolutely.
And that stuck with me. Mr. Harrell Burnett, who was my mentor, taught me a very great message. If you'd like, you want me to talk about our relationship?
Well, I'd love to, because what I do know about Ron is that your life itself was not a bed of roses.
My life was not a bed of roses. Or there were some roses with a lot of thorns.
There we go. I like that version. There was some roses
with a lot of thorns.
With a lot of thorns. And this gentleman helped you smell the roses and dodge the thorns.
And he picked roses for his wife as well, so that's great. Yes, he did. His name was Harrell Burnett. when I was a young kid, I was messing around with a BB gun with some friends of mine and accidentally shot out his front window. I don't know if I did it or not, but it came from my yard. So he came and got me and told me that I was responsible because it came from my yard.
Right.
And he told me that I was gonna work to replace his window. He was a contractor.
Yes.
He kept his word. He picked me up that following Saturday morning and took me out on a job of his. He was remodeling a bathroom, and he told me exactly what he needed done. I needed to break this wall down and gather all the pieces up and put them to the side so they could be picked up later. And then he left.
But he was teaching you responsibility, and to take responsibility for the things that you participated in, whether you were aware of it or not. It could have been one of your friends that shot out, but you guys had the BB gun in the yard shooting it.
Right. You're exactly right. He taught me two things. He taught me that because this situation happened on my property,
yes,
I had to, number one, take ownership.
I love that.
And number two, I was going to be the one that fixed it. Right. So, make a long story short, he dropped me off at this site, and he didn't give me any instructions but a sledgehammer.
Wow.
And he left, and thank God when he came back, this entire wall was down and all the wood was stacked to the side and nothing else was said. And from that point on, he became someone who mentored me and loved me unconditionally and provided a father figure that I had not had in my life up until that time. And I'm grateful.
I think that's really beautiful because everybody doesn't have the same story about being birthed into this world and having the perfect mommy and the perfect daddy and everything is all roses and tulips.
Right.
But here you found a man that stepped in that was not your biological father.
Right.
But he loved you and showed you what it was about being a man.
Yes.
And I think so many of us have those opportunities, but we let anger get in the way. I'm sure you were angry at some point that your mom and your dad were not there.
Well, let me just say this. The way he showed me love, and there's a specific situation. We were out on another job, and a lady said, Mr. Burnett, I've seen you 1,000 times, and I've never seen you with this young man. Who is he? And Mr. Burnett replied, this is my son. And that was love to me. And all I did was look up at him like, really?
Wow.
Make a long story short, we had a conversation later on about that, and he explained to me there are no stepsons, there are only sons.
I love that.
Yes.
Mr. Burnett, I love that. You have given the world a beautiful gift through this man. So now, moving forward,
Right.
you went to college.
Yes.
Played professional or college ball. You played
Yes.
college football.
Yes.
What was your position?
I was a wide receiver.
Oh, wide receiver. I love the wide receivers. And what school did you go to?
I attended FresnoState University from 1986 through 88, in which the last year I received my degree in social work, my BA degree in social work.
Beautiful. And you decided to go into the prison system.
I decided, actually, I wanted to be a recreation therapist. I wanted to work in like a park or something like that,
Right.
just being around and helping kids through sports. However, once I got into college, I started to learn more things. I was removed from the inner city and put in an environment where my eyes were opened a little bit more. The exposure that I needed, like most kids in the inner city need, was given to me on that college campus.
Okay.
And you talked about the hurt that I experienced early on, not having a father or a mother,
Right.
being that my mom passed away at 2 years old.
Yeah.
So yes, there was a lot of hurt, not necessarily anger, and I thank God, and I think that that's the reason why I've been able to manage my life, because I'm not a person that carries a lot of anger.
That's beautiful.
So with this experience on campus, It just opened my eyes to different things. And I started to think back to when I was a kid about the social workers that I had come in contact with. So that's actually how I decided that I wanted to be a social work major, because I felt like by putting myself in that position, I could help kids. Yes.
For you to be able to reach out and help others.
Yes.
Now, participating in the correctional system, always the stories, they make it just appear and look as though it's the worst place in the world. How did you bring a smile and joy and inspire people? How did you bring that into that world?
Very interesting question, and very truthful as well. My background sort of, paved the way. It's kind of like we're familiar and comfortable what we're used to.
Right.
So I came out of an environment where there was gang banging, there was drug usage, sales, violence, and these kind of things. So once I stepped into this correctional facility, I was not afraid of what it was going to bring me, and I didn't want it to be afraid of what I was bringing.
Wow.
I wanted to be different. I wanted to bring a sense of calmness. I wanted to bring a sense of respect and understanding. And I think those are the things that propelled my career for as long as it did. And I can remember one time someone referring to me being an officer as a social worker. So I kind of got the officer / social worker title, and I didn't mind that because I came in with a caring heart.
Yes.
I wasn't afraid of them,
Right.
and I didn't want them to be afraid of me. How can you work with someone who's afraid of you?
Exactly.
It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work that way. So I think my background played a lot in my demeanor and who I was there and who I remained to be throughout my career.
So let me say this. So the fact that in your life as a kid, the struggles, the uncomfortableness, the areas where there wasn't compassion, all of those things prepared you to be able to step into this space as a parole officer.
Yes, all of those things combined, and I do think that all of them are important for you to be a complete person in this field. It'll test you mentally, physically, psychologically from day one. I just to tell a story, I remember my first week working there, and I had an issue with this kid and had to it was a situation where I had to place him in his room.
Okay.
And once I closed his door, he turned around and he said some really harsh words to me, like, I hope your grandmother's already dead.
Oh, my.
Now, I didn't get mad. I didn't get upset because I understood where he was as a person.
Right.
And I think that working in this environment, if you don't understand that, then you're not going to be available.
No.
And I felt bad for him that he could bring such words to his heart, but I knew that there was some pain behind that.
Yes, there was a lot of pain.
So it didn't affect me. I didn't judge him either way. I just went about my business, and welcome to the Department of Corrections.
You sit on in there for a little while, everything gonna be all right.
Of course, yes indeed.
See, that is a beautiful gift to understand that we all bring life to our world. And if we use the things that have helped us grow, the pain as well as the joy, there is always a surplus that we have to give.
Yes.
There is no shortage. Now, you went even further because there is a beautiful organization that you work with that I think is phenomenal. What is the name of the organization?
Actually, I work with a young girl named Carissa Phelps.
Okay.
And she has a program under Runaway Girl.
Okay.
And basically, it's a program in which they try to intervene and get as many young girls that they can out of human trafficking. As you know, human trafficking is one of our biggest challenges these days in time, taking girls as young as 8 and 9 years old off the street,
yes,
and forcing them into human trafficking through fear, manipulation, and psychological warfare.
Right.
So in that program, I assist Carissa and the people that work under her. Another girl named Raquel Thomas, who created a program called Ending the Game. Ending the Game basically is a curriculum for young girls who have already been into human trafficking, and it gives them the tools and the education and the resources to find their way out.
Isn't that's powerful? That's so beautiful. There are many things in this world that are not right. And I believe that our consciousness is waking up and waking us all up to be able to participate. But we can only participate from the level of the answer, not the problem. And you're participating from the level of the answer. So when you met Carissa, she was in prison, or she was under probation, in juvenile detention?
Yes, she was in Fresno County Juvenile Hall, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And this was a young lady that her life, I'm sure, had been met with a lot of turmoil. How did you assist her in helping her rise to another level?
Carissa came into Fresno County Juvenile Hall with some very traumatic experience based on the fact that she was forced into human trafficking by manipulation, fear, physical abuse, and those kind of things. Our relationship started off, which is very unique. I had never worked with girls before.
I was wondering, I didn't know that men could work with girls. I thought it was women with the girls and the men with the boys.
Well, the staffing patterns cross. However, you don't mix girls and boys together in that type of environment. However, in this specific situation, they have found out that girls have started committing more crimes, and they figured that girls needed the treatment programs just as well as boys did. The treatment programs were already in place for boys because boys had throughout our history been the ones that were committing very serious crimes. So they came up with an idea to bring the girls from the girls unit to the boys unit where I worked. And we were assigned a girl or two on our caseload, and that's how I met Carissa. And we worked very well together. Basically what I did was I treated her just like I did the other young men. I gave her a piece of my heart. I gave her a piece of my commitment to her and the things that she wanted to change. I was just the vehicle. I was just the person planting the seeds. It was her who embraced all the things that we had for her to change her situation, and it's turned out to be an awesome experience for her and for me. But I just want to say she embraced everything, and we went outside the box. We did some things that we had never done before in a correctional facility. We got her into self-esteem camp, where she actually left the facility to participate in a camp all week. So I got together with different teachers and counselors and therapists, and we worked together as a community. As a community to make sure that she had the necessary things to change where she was, because she proved to us on a day-to-day basis that she wanted something different for her life, and we could not fail her.
Isn't that beautiful? So, I mean, in anyone's life, you have to make the change. No one can make that for you, but they can help provide the tools. Now, I was reading this wonderful article on Ron, and they were talking about Carissa in this article, that you started her journaling.
Yes.
That's so powerful.
Yes.
It's powerful when you take pen to paper and you write what's in your heart.
Right. I've heard that.
So does that mean you haven't done it?
No, I haven't. But it works, and I'll tell you how it worked. The information that Carissa was giving me.
Yes.
I was 24 years old.
Wow.
She was 13.
Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness.
Some of this stuff I didn't know how to take.
Wow.
But I could not give up on her.
Yes.
I could not turn my back on her. I had to be strong for her. So this is how the journaling came about. I said, hey, you know what? Why don't you write this stuff down while you're in your room at night? And if you start crying while you're writing, you just continue writing. And I felt like that would be a way for her to release all this pain and negative energy that she had about these situations that she had been in.
Yes.
And it proved to be awesome for her and great for me, because I was able to get the information before we sat down and talked, read through it, and decipher what was good on her part, what was bad on her part, what we could do, and basically come up with a plan of action to get her the treatment necessary for her to go forward.
Oh, that's really very powerful. So not getting hit with it instantly coming from her, it allowed you an opportunity to see how you could best dive in and help her work through this.
You're exactly right. I mean, I'm human. And
of course.
Some of the stuff that she was talking about was stuff that I had never heard, taking in consideration the background that I came from.
Wow.
This was another level for me. I mean, there's one thing being in a gang and seeing drug sales on the corner. There's another thing having a young 13-year-old girl tell you about the abusive stuff that occurred to her while being forced into human trafficking.
Yes.
That's another level.
Yeah.
And it was too much for me. So I needed to find a way to accept this situation so I could be available.
Well, you know, I applaud you, because a lot of us, what happens is when we don't know, or when we get into a space of fear, we just shut down. And you did not shut down. So I thank you for that. And I'm sure Carissa thanks you for that, because this program is amazing that they're expanding and getting out into the world. We will have links below, so that you can check out any links on Ron we'll have below. So, Ron, right now, what is it that you want to give out to the world?
I really just want people to know that there are young men, women, boys out there who really just need somebody to grab them by the hand and say, there's another way to do this. Expose them to something different. And for me, that was big.
Yes.
For me, moving out of the inner city by way of athletics, and then going on to college and seeing this world that I never thought I'd see.
Yeah.
So exposure, and all it takes is for you to recognize that kid who needs help and to do what you can. It doesn't cost a lot of money.
Exactly. It's your time.
It's your time.
It's your
exactly.
time. It's your time.
It's your time. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree
it's
with
your
that.
time.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful gift to give your time. A lot of times we're like, what can I do? And we want to throw money at it. But what we need more than money, we need you. We need your time. We need your thoughts, your ideas, your consciousness, your energy that takes us to another level.
That's right.
And I really love the work that you're doing. I love that you were willing to come and share this, because a lot of times people don't want people to know. But this is how we inspire our community called our world. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. We all have something to give.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And it's just about giving it. It's just about giving it. So, 3 questions and we'll wind this up.
I'm listening.
What brings you happiness?
Happiness for me is helping. Helping somebody. Helping someone. Opening the door for someone coming out of the grocery store. Providing information to someone. Just being in the realm of just helping people. That gives me the most excitement, and it makes me the most happy.
How many times in a week do you work out? You should see this body.
It's a part of the program in helping.
Okay.
You got to keep yourself fit, mentally and physically.
Love that.
It's a stress releaser for me, but I work out at least 4 to 5 times a week.
Awesome.
And I do my best trying to eat right?
Okay.
But if you have any cookies, I want some. So yeah, it's a combination of keeping healthy and fit for life.
Yes.
And keeping the stress levels down to be there for someone, per se.
And if you could tell a young man or a young girl that maybe they're on the verge right now, they're thinking that they're not worthy, they're not this, their life isn't working, what would you say to them?
I think today's young men and young women need to hear that you can't base your life on what somebody else has. I think social media has created this fake perception of what life should be.
Okay.
Life is where you are, it's who you are, and it's what you make it for yourself. So don't get caught up in what everybody else is doing on social media. Do you, do it the right way, and I guarantee one day you'll be sitting in my seat telling your story.
I love that. I love that. With that being said, we'll close out with our song. One more thing?
Yes.
One more thing.
One more thing. I would like to tell my oldest sister, Brenda, that I love her dearly, and she wasn't old enough to get me out of foster care when I was younger because she just wasn't old enough.
Right.
But she was the mainstay with me in terms of me knowing that somebody unconditionally loved me, my biological sister.
Yes.
And there wasn't a Christmas until she showed up at my foster home. There wasn't a holiday until she showed up. So my sister Brenda has been my backbone. And even today, she's my backbone. And I've even had a conversation with her about you and how we met on an airplane. And you inspired me to get into meditating and just really thinking more openly about becoming more of who I am. So I give thanks to you. I give thanks to my sister from the bottom of my heart. And I have so many more people that I could thank, but hopefully we'll do this again because there's some more interesting things that we need to cover. And because I'm excited about being in your world, I did get you something. I hope you like seeds candy.
Who doesn't like seeds candy?
So how can you talk about giving when you're not giving, right?
This is awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you so much. Wow. What a beautiful gift. And yes, I love seeds candy.
Cut. Seeds candy break.
So let us close out with our song, Lean on Me.
Okay.
Because that's what this show has really been about. Your family, Brenda, Mr. Burnett, your community at the Probation Center and the therapists and other programs that you worked with and the people that you're continuing to work with. Carissa and the wonderful work that she's doing out there in the world. And what's the other young lady that works with her?
Raquel Thomas.
Raquel Thomas.
Yes.
What you guys have come together to create. We will have links below for all of that. So if you want to participate, if you know how you can help them further the message, please, we'll have information for you to connect with them. Because as a community, we lean on each other. And it is through that that we rise to a level of absolute magnificence.
Yes, indeed.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Oh, it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. I want to thank you so much for joining me today on Pass the Mic. Remember, we are one. We hold a vision. We are creating our here and now. Just you and me.
That's right.
Just you and me. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment below. And remember, we are community, and we are in this thing together.